Hey. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba. Hey. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Did it work? Of course not, because we have frickin' hardware accelerator on. Hardware accelerator is on, so we can't do anything until we turn it off. Hardware accelerator. Turn it off and relaunch. Do we have it? Settle.
Objection!
Let's throw that around right now. Throw that right there for now for a second. And we should be good. Let's see how that works. Hey, baby, we got it.
Hey.
What do we have other things going on?
Can you call this number now? Tell me what I'm doing here and how I'm moving. Or has it happened? And have I already won?
Where's this freaking tab playing? Found it.
So can you help me? Or do I have to help myself?
All right, we're finally fixed. We've done it. We've done it.
Love surrounds me, and I can give it back. Yes, I can. I must be cautious, not to find myself trapped. Don't get trapped.
Roblox. Working on it, dude. We're working on it, man.
Disguising what we lack.
So many things to fix.
California. Can you cut me some slack?
Go. What's it even streaming at? It is. I'm disappointed. For what? We're gonna watch some stuff. We're gonna watch some memes and stuff, man. Or something. I don't know. Pretty damn good. Okay. So that's that. What are we doing? Why is it entertainment's on? Public. Okay, so there's no game here. Just watching some YouTube stuff. Okay, we're good. Good, beautiful. We're in great shape. Greatest shape of our lives. Watch my vids, then I'll be happy. Why would I watch your vids? We're watching this.
I put my faith in you.
Why is everything in Japanese?
This is what somebody wanted to watch, and thus we'll watch it.
Indeed it does, which as we
All
know
right.
is the name of the defendant.
It's all a setup, a fraud. I messed up.
Order! Order!
There. Now
Sorry to burst your
everyone
bubble, but I have
can
more
watch
evidence against you.
memes and
You are
shit
so
on YouTube.
What nonsense!
Alright. So if you have something to suggest, you know, put it in the chat or something. I don't know. That's something you could do. That's a
Yes!
be a
Why don't you put all
good
the
idea.
parts in everywhere?
I didn't realize I was starting to get so famous. Gosh, you're making me blush.
Relax, it's not like you're in anime or something.
I was gonna watch a
Why is the
movie
daughter
or
of the
something
grind
or a
school's
cartoon, but if
master
you guys got so many
determined
like
to
dubs or
put
something on
purity in
YouTube, we could
himself.
probably watch it.
Of course, the precocious
Together.
little girl is Pearlfin. She's
So after the
Mama's
end of this
cousin.
one, you guys can
Good
suggest
lord,
stuff in
is she
chat,
a mean bitch.
do some stuff.
A criminal mastermind. A thief that targets rare treasures. And he dresses like when Eric Vale thinks he's alone.
It's not gonna work.
Sorry for dropping in unannounced. It's cool.
Hey,
Not
we're
wrong.
doing
My only
like
company is my giant
a
box of
watch
dildos.
along,
I don't know.
suggest videos, and we'll watch together and giggle.
That was good.
Cool. Alright, cool. That works.
What is this? Something smooth and hard. Sorry. I don't know. That's a hard line to deliver. Okay.
So what do you have for options here?
Coming. Yeah, he's gone for the night. Let me kick these bitches out.
Why is he here?
Good old Maya Fey. She's the younger sister of my friend and mentor, the late Mia Fey. I met her a couple of years ago, and even defended her when she was falsely accused of Mia's tragic murder.
Wait.
They're from Kurine Village, home of the mysterious spirit-challenging Fertz. Maya's the daughter of the Kurine School of fucking hell, asshole.
Oh no, you tripped on the dildos!
Is my...
But what if it turns out that Ron Delight isn't really mask to mask after all?
Oh, because his wife said he was delusional? Come on, Nick, she's not even that hot!
And she's fine. She's prettier than you.
Well, I've heard your voice before. Simply beautiful. What? You haven't heard my voice before.
Hard. Like a dildo.
Huh?
The
What do you mean? Why are you on our... Have you not heard my voice before?
Fingerprints?
Does it have any good ideas what to watch?
Oh dear. Don't make me laugh, sir lawyer.
Don't mind my name. I gotta
That's your
change to
bigger
holy...
room.
Oh.
My, my.
Alright.
How thick-headed.
How have you not
It
heard
would
my
be
voice
perfectly
before? Why are you on the
understandable
Discord if you
if
haven't
that urn was
heard...
covered in my
Unless you came over with,
After all, I was the slick sentinel
I guess you might have
assigned
come over
safety.
with, Panthro. And people...
Not presenting your fingerprints as evidence. Huh? Mr. Atme, do you recall you saw
That's a
me
possibility, I
yesterday?
guess, suppose.
The crane urn in your bag was there then, wasn't it? That's quite impossible. Sure, I didn't look in my bag myself, but even better than that, I touched whatever was inside. What?
I don't think
You did?
D-Lab's a mixer's working for me.
Your Honor, it's a bunch of stuff past my line. Can I go home?
Otherwise, I suggest you throw out the pot and try another grind.
Yes, indeed. You're rambling, binging, binging, blah, 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 blah. Cool.
Let's go to
Otherwise, I
broadcast Discord.
suggest
Maybe
you throw out the pot and try another grind.
Yes, indeed. You're randomly,
that. Nani, I'm from
rambling,
Iggy's Disc,
random,
bud.
random, random.
Ah.
Ram, ram.
Ah, Ignis. Why? I mean
Otherwise, I
Ignis
suggest you throw
Disc.
out the pot and try another grind.
Who's
Yes,
that
indeed.
Ignis person?
You're rambling randomly and
No, yeah, that makes sense.
Wait. Did he do it because
But I don't
he knew
know
security
why
would come?
Mixer
Why
ain't
didn't I
working,
see it
yo.
before?
So this online on Mixer, though. I mean, we got some suggestions here. We got something else to watch other than this.
Objection! The two intertwined trials believe. In order to believe Ron's innocence, and unveiled crimes of Detective Atme stands accused of...
It's an emergency buzzer! Can't you read? It says it right there!
Oops, should've looked.
It sets off an alarm in the basement guard that room that tells the security hightail it, Tyler
I
Walker!
have to wonder, the other night, was
That's
that
a
button
mouthful.
pressed?
I had the same thought, so I asked around. Security says there's no record of the line. Plus, we dusted the button for...
How do I recommend
press and
videos?
we
Just
didn't
put in
find
chat,
a
bro.
thing.
I've actually never, I've never had time to watch streams. I didn't watch yours yet. The Outrun Coast Club bloopers are funny.
Serves you
Outrun.
right. You got what you deserve.
You're in Coast Club bloopers.
Something along
All right, let's go with
those
that.
Well, I
Just
can
like,
tell
just yeah,
when
just put it in
someone
chat,
puts
man.
the
I
button
can
to their-
links or whatever. Unless
Yeah,
it's not allowing
I
you. If
cut
it's
out,
not.
guys.
Let's go see what this is. All right, let's go see what we got here for Uren. Oh, the high school thing.
Taking this poor thing too far.
Spurned, neglected, but that doesn't matter now. Long live the poor! We welcome you, poor man, to our world of crap.
Here, change into this uniform. What? But why? Don't ask questions. Change. No way.
The voice actors remember me of
Shut up.
Ghost Stories.
Obvious she doesn't like me.
I can't believe you are
What is
just
that beep? Is that
awesome.
something
And
I'm
your
doing?
blue shirt and your hair, love it.
Listen, Senpai, I don't really care whether you guys recognize me as a boy or a girl. In my opinion, it's more important to be recognized for who you... I can't read.
I don't see the
Really?
videos I'm recommending.
Isn't this an interesting...
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey.
What?
I almost forgot to tell you, ladies. Next week, the Oron Host Club is sponsoring...
I don't see the
Party
videos I'm
Open
recommending.
Here.
Just
Or throw
Men
well,
must know how to dance.
is it?
If you want to
Is the
live
beep
life
coming
of a
from
host
this?
that-
Or throw
Men must know how to dance.
It totally is. That's
If
the
you want
most
to live the life of a
annoying
host that
beep
badly,
ever.
You're going to have to
I can't listen to this. It's gonna get my brain's gonna explode. Like the side chat, I don't see it. Oh, Are you seeing my videos? No, I'm not. Can you just type in the titles and I'll search them?
You are just awesome in your blue shirt and your hair.
My mixer's coming up black. Can somebody?
If you do it, we'll cut your debt by 1/3.
Why do they keep putting a fucking beep? What is this? Who's doing this beep thing?
I think you're taking this poor thing too far.
Is this?
Burned, neglected.
What is
but
this
that
beep?
Doesn't matter now. Long live the poor. We welcome you, poor man, to our world of.
This beep's gonna make me go. Are you seeing my videos? No, I already read that. No. I think the one of the Pyro plays someone in Ghost Stories. I think so too. Can somebody check my mixer out and see if it's transmitting at all? I don't know why it beeps. I think it's because it's copywritten. Oh.
I can't believe
That would explain it.
You are just awesome in your
That would
blue
explain it.
shirt and
The
your
good.
hair.
This is a good one.
Listen, Senpai, I don't
Flossin',
really
but
care
a good
whether you guys
by
recognize me as
good
a
Romy
boy or a
official.
girl.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna skip around a bit because that's kind of annoying me. I tried to make Flossin' a full version of Flossin' by Rumi. Flossin' but it's good by Rumi. Flossin' but it's good by Rumi official. Is this the one? Flossing but it's good. Okay. This one.
They didn't invite me, but it's okay. It's okay.
Top one.
Spread your legs, left, right, left.
Wait, what? Top one? I was right? This is it, right? Is this it? It's a yay or nay, babe.
But it's okay. It's okay.
Yes, okay.
Spread your legs, left,
Why
right,
my
left,
mixer
right.
buggerinoed?
Everywhere you go, yeah, you will see the flaws and duns, yeah. It be international.
Man, my mixer's busted.
You will see it in France, yeah. Baby, yeah, I'll be flossing, so spread your legs. Oh, I'll be flossing left to right, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
They didn't invite me, but it's okay. It's
Come
okay.
on, baby, yeah, yeah. I'll be
Spread your
flossing,
legs, left,
spread
right,
your legs
left,
for me,
right.
baby.
Are y'all laughing at me?
I think my mixer's busted. Well, that's good to know that our mixer's busted. That's silly. All right, what else you got for me, dude? Yes. Okay, so we got some. Let's look for some bloopers. Anime bloopers. There's a good anime blooper. I can't even think. Or anime dubs are usually good. I like me some anime dubs. I don't know if you guys like anime dubs. What is a good anime dub? I think my favorite one was the Van Helsing one. Is it Van Helsing or what's the not Van Helsing, but what's the vampire anime? The one with the guy that is a vampire. Which one? Anybody know what I'm talking about? The vampire one. KKK Vampire Knight. Neither of those. The site has been known to show. I don't care. The one with they bring back like legions of dead and he kills all the legions of dead and like fights the Catholic Church. You should do Little Witch Academy. No, you should do Little Witch Academy. All right, we'll do Little Witch Academy. Just because you asked for it. Only because you asked for it. Oh, Blood Lad. I haven't finished that one yet. Let's go here. Helsing? Is that what it's called? Maybe. It's not that old, but we'll see what this is up.
Following video you're about to watch is a fan-based non-profit parody.
Oh, wow. Okay, Mixer's finally transmitting that I'm live. Congratulations, Mixer.
Trigger and Good Smile Company. Please support the official release.
Nice. I haven't seen Little Witch either. So we're all gonna watch this. I believe this skirts the land because since it's a parody, it's all fair use. That means we should be able to watch this on our stream without worrying about it. Okay.
No, you don't! Well, that was unexpected. Huh?
Rawr, XD.
You're not gonna get that! Ah! Okay, so you're probably wondering how this all came about. Well, before I can tell you that, I got a bit of explaining to do. My name is Ako Kagari. If you're wondering why my voice sounds so weird, well, that's because I'm a student at the renowned Luna Nova Magic Academy. It's sort of like Hogwarts, but if it were only for girls. So, not really like Hogwarts at all. My adventures in wizardry began on the first day of my first semester, when I was paired with two kids I had never met before in class. I was already having a lousy day, but things just got weirder from there.
Now then, class, if you look carefully at my giant flaming chalkboard, I'll need you to retrieve whatever loot you find in the labyrinth, and then you'll come across...
If our assignment was to play a dungeon crawler, I would have stayed home and turned on the Wii.
Easy for you to say.
The artwork reminds me of like Soul Eater. What is this with? This is so cringy. Yeah, a little bit. What is this with anime putting 12-year-olds in gimpy clothing? Skimpy clothing? It's because everything's like lollies. Is it lolly a sexual word? But you know what I'm saying.
Come on, girls. This will be a
I heard it in a video and I want to see what it was, but didn't have time to do it. Now we have time together. See how bad this is. I mean, it could be good.
This is a total outrage. Never before have I seen such terrible wizardry for a first year. You three are single-handedly responsible for millions of dollars in damage.
But
do you know how long it's going to take us to rebuild and recover all of the research we lost because of you?
3 years? No, maybe 4.
I estimate 10 at least.
Enough! There is only one way behavior such as this can be remedied. I want you three to put on a parade.
Does that mean we get to do the kicking?
A historical parade.
It's not all bad, girls. It's a culturally relevant affair that gives our fine school infinite amounts of prestige.
I think I know why. This is made by the same people who made Kill la Kill. Oh, that would make sense. I mean, it looks similar to Soul Eater as well, but Soul Eater might be the same people that made
All magic comes with a price.
Don't fool me, lady. You got that from Once Upon a Time.
Anyways, audio kind of sucks. So what else do we have? What like the voices are it's kind of cringy and the voiceovers are kind of really bad. Like the audio quality for like the mic's really bad. So let's see what we got here. This looks awkward as heck. So what else we got for ideas? So that one was from Set the Board on Fire. So this is actually from the anime, and apparently this is actually. I mean, looks like the material's good. Like you have some decent animation. Like, you know what I mean?
You can applaud now, you know.
There's just some weird. They could have made that into a striptease or something. Like that's good, some good animation. Okay, Set the Board on Fire. That's not the real show voices. I know it's not. It sounded really bad. I know it's not. The audio quality is awful. The point is being, even for a dub, the quality is really bad. Are we doing this one? This is we're watching Set the Board on Fire.
I'm sorry, Jesse. It was pure pressure. He's fucking lying. He's telling the truth.
This is what you want to watch? Wow. Good video, dude. I don't think that was what you meant. What do we... I don't think... Well, I'm thinking we'll probably put the word dub in, maybe? Is that what we're looking for? Maybe I'm wrong. Helsing. I think it's Helsing. Helsing Abridged. That's what it is. That's what it is. This is my favorite... This is my favorite dub, I think. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I just meant to do this. Like, this is my favorite dub. You can... This is, like, so good.
Oh, yes. I love you, Edward.
And I love you.
Yeah, I've never watched the anime. It's not. I was commenting on the anime. Oh.
Who is it?
Oh, you know.
I know, I was just joking. Well, I don't know, but I knew you were just commenting after that.
A real fucking vampire.
See, listen, look at the sound quality of that, like, compared to the other one. And this is older than that. This is from, like, 2016. No, this is way older than this. This is a redone. I'm already uncomfortable already.
Hey, police girl. Do you have the target?
Okay, Master, my name is Ceres. And yes, I have the target in sight.
Well, better take the shot. You're letting her get away.
If you just give me a second to concentrate,
He's probably
I could...
still
She's getting away. She's running.
I get it, I'm lining up the...
Going to miss it. Going to miss it.
Just be quiet and let me...
Hey, police girl. Hey, police girl.
There! I took the fucking shot! She's dead! There's blood everywhere!
Oh, you are just a treat. Now I know what you're thinking. How did all this come about? Well, it all started on a midnight stroll through the woods. The air was clear. The moon was full. I was dying to sink my teeth into something. Get it? Because I'm a vampire. It's funny.
So you came. Too bad you're far too late.
What?
Everyone else is already dead. Except
she's still alive, I think.
Tart. But trust me, I still plan to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
But first, I'm going to rape her.
Neat.
But before I can do any of that, I'm going to kill you.
Oh? See, that would be intimidating if you were, well, intimidating.
Are you mocking me?
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, that should about wrap things up.
Seems like your typical anime.
Oh yeah, I forgot about you.
Yeah.
Sorry about that whole shooting you thing, but I know if you look deep into your heart, which is currently all over that tree, you'll find a way to forgive me. Aw, jeez, you look like a puppy. A blonde eviscerated puppy. Christ, fine, I'll help you. But only because you got nice tits.
So that's your field report.
Yep.
You went on a walk through the forest at midnight.
Yep.
You killed a homicidal vampire priest.
Dead.
And then you turned someone into a vampire who happened to be a big titty
police girl. Yes, it's like I didn't just get through explaining this. Now, if you don't mind,
I like how nonchalant this guy is.
What
Yeah.
things? You don't do things.
Yes, I do. I take enthusiastic walks through the woods.
And kill
I just look how
homicidal
well,
vampire
like,
priests.
does bigger boobs mean more money for animators? I mean, I don't think so.
The house,
Yep.
and you shot him 36 times.
37.
And took out his partner.
To be fair, that was the police girl. With the big titties.
You need to stop going on walks.
Then you need to hurry up and hook up some goddamn DSL in here.
Ugh. Listen,
DSL in
you
here.
have an assignment in Ireland.
Ooh, I've never hunted down a leprechaun before. Do you think if I shoot them with my gun, Lucky Charms will explode everywhere?
Sweet Christ. Just get to Ireland, kill the vampire who's taken over the hospital, and bring the police girl with you.
Ah, come on, I have to bring her everywhere.
None of the sass.
Yes, Mom.
So what can I do for you, Father O'Malley, O'Connell, O'Carroll, O'Reilly, O'Brien, O'Sullivan? Who is also Italian.
Tell me, Anderson, what is your favorite thing to do?
Spreading the word and love of Jesus Christ to the many
I
people
don't even
of the
know what's
world,
happening.
Teaching peace and love for all.
And the killing of vampires?
Just try to fucking
Gotta go,
stop
I'm
me.
scared.
And what about
Alright.
the Protestants?
Second verse, same as the first. Now put me on a plane so I can put him in a hearse.
Hey, police girl.
Hey, police girl.
This is awesome. You should totally join in.
How's the thing going?
There's like 40 zombies.
Fine, man.
Just one shot to the head.
You should
Whoa.
be able to
House
watch
of the Dead,
on
only like
YouTube.
100 times more awesome.
Fine. I'll shoot some of the rotten bastards. Can't be that much fun. Oh, fuck the hell, yes.
Is it bad? I just want to make each one of these mad.
Black fucking
What?
Zabbath. If I wasn't holding up for that
What does that
woman
even
in
mean?
Tegra, I'd fuck the red right out of those eyes. Well, kinda like that, only with less symbolism and more my penis in your vagina. Huh? Suddenly it reeks of hypocrisy in here. Oh, if it isn't the Catholic Church. And what's this? No little Timmy glued to your crotch. Progress.
And look at what we have here. A bloody heathen.
Excuse me, but I'm a fuck-mothering vampire. I killed a lot of people to get this title. I deserve to be called such.
Well then, mind if I ask you your name?
Only if you give yours first, papist.
Fine, I'll give you the courtesy. The name's
Alexander Anderson.
Oh, fuck all kinds of duck.
You have been chosen to reveal my existence to the world. You will witness what happens here today, and you will tell of it later. Except you won't, because I'll have killed you.
Oh my. Brilliant speech. And unoriginal. That's totally from Boondock Saints.
What? No, it isn't. I came up with it a week ago.
Whatever. We're here for the vampire.
The only one left here is your sorry pale ass.
Yeah, give me a minute. So what do you want, anyways? The nearest elementary school is at least 10 kilometers away.
It is your corrupt acclaim. It is your evil that will be sought.
This
by
anime is actually really good.
every breath.
This is actually a really good anime, so I don't care what you guys say. If you don't like this anime or not, it's a great This is a great anime.
Fuck it. Knife.
Knife?
Master!
Who? Headshot.
Bad anime.
How about we go back
I
to
like
my place?
it. It's good anime and it's good dub too.
Count Chuck.
TFS does really good dubs.
Well, now that that's over, how about we go back to my place for a bowl of my favourite cereal, Frankenbit?
Son of a Protestant whore!
Son of a Protestant
whore. You know what time it is?
This kind of shit is
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have laughed at that. Oh my god.
Police girl.
Oh my god.
Your master's
I'm going to
mind.
hell.
Put my head between your boobs.
Now I'm all alone. The only one I had left was you.
Very good. Now the next thing I want you to do is put me between your legs. God damn it!
It's a shame for you lost your head. A careless vampire wound up dead. You wore your sin like it was some kind of prize. Too many lies. Too many lies.
What do I do? What do I do? I could try seducing him. Wait, no, I'm not an 8-year-old boy. Shit!
Say your prayers, wee lass.
That girl belongs to me.
Well, aren't you the naughty one?
Don't make me shoot you in the fucking head.
What the hell do you want, you crazy Protestant bastard?
I'm a woman.
Call yourself whatever you want, you crazy Protestant bastard.
You do know this is a grave violation of our agreement.
And what part would that be?
The part where you're here, killing my men.
I have no idea what you're on about. I'm just here doing my job. Killing vampires and werewolves and leprechauns. I never actually found one, but do you think if I cut one open with my knife it would spill out Lucky Charms?
Just shut up. Where the hell is Alucard?
Oh,
Right.
him? I killed him.
Scottish man
Cut
talking
off
about
his
someone
bloody
lying
Oh,
too
well,
much. One
that's
sec, gotta
step
stop
one.
laughing.
What about 2 through 10?
Ah, Christ.
You done goofed.
How the blood-soaked Protestant hell did you do that?
Protestant
Fuck you, that's
hell?
how.
Everything's
You know what?
Protestant.
I've had
It's
enough of
great.
this. To hell with all you dirty heathen.
Eat me. Don't forget to write.
Oh, I remember this. So this the Scottish guy is super complex, kinda,
So,
because he's Protestant,
do I get to go after him?
but he's Scottish,
Aw, come on.
No, and that's final. We've got bigger things to
which
worry
is like a
about.
kind of like
Whoever's
an English
behind
thing.
these vampire attacks.
So he's
It
kind of
has
like a
to be
really
some kind of
conflicting
large
character.
organized group.
I don't know how to
Like
explain it, but it's
Nazis?
just
That would be retarded.
yeah, it's kind of funny. And once this is over, or once you guys get bored, we can switch over to someone
Gentlemen.
else. If you guys have any suggestions.
Wir are Nazis. Und wir will have war. Und wir
Und wie?
Und wir
Und wie?
Gesundheit! Gesundheit!
Oh, dude.
Hello, Alucard. How was your mission in Japan?
I'd say 99.9% done. Sup, bitch.
I need to talk to you about some
Sup,
important
bitch?
guests coming today.
Are they hookers?
No.
And like that, you've lost me.
There are financial suppliers.
Oh, man. They have to hate us.
They do. That's why they cancelled our budget.
Ooh, that's bad. We need that, right? Walter, we need that, right?
Yes, very important.
Thank you, Walter.
Of course, sir.
Over the last couple of years, we've had some expensive claims.
Like what?
First off, property damage.
Good times.
Dozens of noise complaints.
Is he German or Irish? Well, he hates.
Killing
I
at
think
least
he's
a dozen
the
innocent
other guy is
people.
Protestant, is Scottish.
Got a fucking Oscar for it.
And all of the sexual harassment.
I'm not apologizing.
Listen, I know this is asking a lot, but I want you to keep yourself locked in the basement until all of them are gone.
I get the distinct impression you're embarrassed of me.
Alucard.
And the good thing about this dub,
This is important, and
compared
I
to
don't
other
need to
dubs,
cause
excuse me,
me
sorry
another
about that,
scene.
I burped a bit.
have to take this.
Instead of compared to like other
No, you
dubs, dubs
don't.
usually just make stuff that are funny, but this kind of still follows the plot, but makes it funny as well. So this dub parody is really good. So this is like this following the plot through
Do I
everything.
need to give you
It's
to
great.
keep you down here for the evening?
I'm going to need a new gun. Also one for the police girl.
But I already have a gun.
Get that bitch a cannon. Bitches love cannons.
Bitches
Anything
love
else?
cannons.
A 70-inch plasma widescreen TV.
Really?
With Netflix.
Should it also be 3D?
No, that's a stupid fucking gimmick and everyone knows it.
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation.
Well, considering the direness of your financial security, we thought it was the least we could do.
Now, before we begin, I
Ignis
was
will be
under the
back in like an
impression
hour,
our
though.
budget was handled
She's
directly by the
actually
Queen.
she gets off work at
Oh,
11,
yes. However,
so she'll
we're
probably be
having a
back around
particularly
12 or
difficult
11.
time justifying some
I mean
of
12
these
or 1.
expenses.
Most of them
She's
under
taking
the
the
name
bus, which takes time.
Alucard.
Continue.
For example, some of them were frankly labeled entertainment.
Entertainment?
Quite. Like in my report. 20,000 for, candy?
That's candy with an I, by the way.
I see.
Not to mention the priceless antique car. I believe the note on the claim
No,
was,
calm down, you're
I
laughing
thought I
way
could
too
paint it
much.
red, but I couldn't find enough
Makes
goose.
sense.
So I scrapped it.
So that's why we found my father's car covered in goat blood and rammed into a Dairy Queen.
Oh, yes, and then there's also the Dairy
To
Queen.
find too
sitting at
much.
about
Apparently it's too much
I
is
would do fucking
more than enough.
anything right now to get out of this.
And so halfway through blowing me, the fucking hooker ODs on heroin.
I really don't like discussing my ex-girlfriend with you.
I mean, I still finished, but what kind of shit is that?
For God's sakes, Jan, think of Mother.
I ain't jerking off right now.
Oh, you two. The grounds are currently closed.
Oh man, that totally sucks. And we came all the way out here with these foreign exchange students on a field trip through
Oh, this is a
England.
cool scene.
Where from?
Texas. Aw, shit. Looks like we need more prayer in schools.
If you're quite finished, ready the ghouls. I'm going to find out.
Oh
You
my
will run
god.
the rest of the mansion.
I fucking
Alrighty.
love this.
Attention all bitches! Off the bus and line up in order! I got a class assignment for all y'all.
And while the mime did survive, he'll never walk again.
That's funny, we weren't cutting the power just yet.
Oh, shit. Front desk report. What's going on?
Oh, hey, yeah. Hold on. Just give me a second. Whoa. Oh, yeah, it's ghouls. Definitely. Oh my god!
Sir Integra, do something!
Calm down. We have over 100 trained guards at the premises at all times. We have everything under control.
Everything under control.
What was that?
That was probably the escape chopper exploding. As I was saying, let me just contact communications and get an update. Communications, come in. We need a full report.
Read the fucking paper.
Integra.
Read it fucking right, cockhole.
Hey there, you fat English whore.
That's more like it. Now keep going.
Me and my big brother Luke are killing all of your men and turning them into ghouls. So I hope you've made peace with your Cause when I find you, I'm gonna fuck every hole you've got.
Heyo, it's I, Edgy Lincoln Park Kid. What's up, dude?
Until there's nothing left but your riddled corpse full of blood and semen. Oh God, this is horrible. You ain't finished yet.
We're watching anime dubs.
You're trying up pussy for my huge vampire cock.
They couldn't make this fucking anime dub today. And this isn't that old. You can't say the fat goat word anymore. You or no? Did someone say Linkin Park? Yes, I did. You can't say fat goat anymore. You can't say rape.
Alucard, get up here now! I'm
Can't say
locked in
anything
with the
anymore.
committee on the 3rd floor, and
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. You see, I'm under direct orders from my boss, who is a total bitch, by the way, that I am not to leave this room until such time as the committee has left the building. I was even bribed. Imagine that.
Alucard, you vampiric asshole, I will.
Sounds great, but I'm gonna have to go now. I just queued up an episode of Adventure Time on Netflix. Bye.
Walter!
Oh, I just love the audio editing in this too.
Hello, Jan.
So, how's my favorite big brother doing?
Oh, you know, just killed a group of guards.
Shit, bro, you too? What's your kill count at? Nah, don't tell me. I'm winning.
They were guarding a secret passageway downstairs. Not really keeping it a secret if you keep a bunch of armed guards
I've now
standing
broken the
around
law.
Well, you have fun with that, bro.
Oh, I don't
I'm
have to
gonna
use
go
those gank
skull
links anymore. I
fuck
can just
that
use this
Helsing
link,
bitch.
this live link.
And the old guys.
This works too.
Fuck it. Skull fucking for everyone.
Well, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family.
Alright, Walter and his assistant should be here any second now.
But if there's no way to get upstairs, how are they going to...
Tally-ho!
Good to see you, Walter.
Of course, sir.
The first 2 floors have been entirely overrun. Communications with the outside have been cut off. We lost
You
all
like
our men.
the
and
hunting
Alucard
party?
is being
Alucard.
a total ass, yes.
hunting party?
Now tell me, do you have any plans?
Of course, sir. I shall do exactly as the butler does. And tidy up.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. Now, if I give a shit, I might just give a fuck, but I don't give a shit, so I don't give a... Fuck was that?
Hello. My name is Walter C. Dornay.
Oh, it's an album?
Ex-vampire
Oh,
hunter
I didn't
and
know it was an
butler to
album.
the Helsing organization. I answer the door, I clean up the estate, and I take out the trash. And I also kill self-entitled little twats like yourself.
Well, ain't you just the textbook fucking definition of classy? But guess what, Jeeves? That garrote wire won't do shit for dick against armor this thick. What's that, Alfred? How thick is it? Well, half as thick as my dick. So thick enough that you need a fucking anti-tank rifle to pierce it. And I don't even see a piece on your wrinkly old ass.
Police girl, if you may.
Police girl, if you may.
Bitches love cannons.
Oh, fuck, that's an anti-tank rifle. Oh, fuck, that's an anti-tank rifle!
That was a 70-inch plasma screen TV. So, how can I help you?
You must be the great Alucard.
Sup?
I've heard quite a lot
Sup?
about you.
Oh, really?
The Nightwalker, who glides through oceans of blood. Beyond human, a monster whose power radiates with a darkness that casts a shadow on darkness itself.
Oh, you dirty bitch, work the shaft.
Excuse you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I like to dirty talk when someone's sucking my dick.
Perhaps I should just skip to my point. My name is Luke Valentine.
And I'm Carmen Sandiego. Guess where I am?
I'm trying to have a serious conversation with you here.
Oh, so am I. And I'm failing. And I'm sorry for that. It's just that I'm so agitated because this blonde little shit strolled into my room, destroyed my 70-inch plasma TV, and is trying to impress me like I'm his alcoholic father. Be a sport and grab Daddy another beer, would you?
Armbar's everywhere!
That's quite impressive. Where did you learn that hold?
Oh, wow, it's almost like I'm a police girl or something.
Sarcasm is unbecoming of you.
Wow, gee willikers, mister. I sure am sorry for slaughtering all your guards and tearing up your mansion. I promise I've learned my lesson. Ah, fuck, take a joke, asshole!
And everything you say just pisses me off. Now you're going to tell me everything I want to know.
All right. What you do is you go down to the local pharmacy, ask for something called Viagra, and it'll help you go fuck yourself!
Like,
And
legit,
now for
dude.
the upcoming company
The writing's good.
Unfortunately, all your
I mean, it's not
douchebag
great, but
coworkers
it's
bring is
adequate.
their own rotten flesh.
And everything
Still better
works,
than potato
man.
salad, if you ask me. Now, if you don't mind, I'ma go eat that Helsing bitch.
I got your ass.
So shove it up your ass. Well, that's not fair at all.
I'm sorry. We don't give a fuck.
Fuck! Where the fuck did my ghouls go?
Oh, they've been dealt with.
Gotta go for a couple minutes. Hey,
Well,
toasted
at least
croissant.
I'm gonna die with a
Oh, that's I just noticed your name.
Alright, shit for brains.
Noticed
You're
your
going
name.
to spill
Sorry.
every single thing you know, or I'm going to have Walter here peel your dick like a
yeah.
banana.
Say yeah.
I don't know what's fucking funnier. The fact that you think that your titless ass intimidates me, or that you'd think my boss would let me live if you did. And now I'm on fucking fire! So now it's free game! The one who sent me was Nazis.
Nazis.
I heard George Lucas. Who else heard George Lucas?
I heard Miami Heat.
I heard the Motley Crue with my vampire hearing.
Wait a second. Where's the big brother?
You can't touch me! I was handcrafted to kill you! My speed, my stamina, my power unrivaled! Nay, dwarf yours! In comparison to you, I am a
I think sure actually I'll be back. Alright, yep.
Really? Really?
Really?
Really?
Really? Really?
Release restraint level 1.
Level what?
Fuck! You know, they say that TV makes you violent. But I say not having my TV is making me pretty fucking violent.
I'm near the stairs. Gotta get to the stairs. If I can just get up the stairs, fuck.
Come on! You were talking all that good shit a second ago. Then I blew your fucking legs off.
What the fuck?
What's wrong, demigod? Just grow back your legs. Summon up your demons. Hit me. Fight me. Give me a hug.
Really? Oh god, no!
Hey, we're here on epic meal time. I'm the Falls Boss. And tonight, we're eating this blonde little wannabe demigod bitch.
Who is that exactly?
Oh, that's Alucard, the one we talked about earlier. This is what happens when he has to entertain himself. Oh, so what was that issue with our funding?
Issue? What issue? I don't see an issue.
Shut up and take our money!
Just like that, everything turned out alright in the end.
Yes, everything turned out just fine. Except that 90% of our staff were killed, turned into ghouls, then killed again by the police girl in a blood rage.
What's a blood rage? And why don't I remember anything?
That reminds me, for whatever reason, did we ever find out who sent them? It was the Nazis, wasn't it?
No.
Bet you I'm right.
Bet you you're wrong.
Bet you you're a skank.
Bet you you're an asshole.
Bitch, I eat people!
Vampire King. You lay upon the blood-soaked dirt of your ruined land. Castles plundered, dominions in ruin.
Maybe anything else I want to watch?
Destroyed, all to
I
end
might
the
go with this for a
hellfire
bit.
with which you sought to cover the world. A bloody conquest having consumed hundreds of thousands, countless villages razed to the ground, and over 20,000 impaled and prostrated by you and you alone, to strike horror into the hearts of mortal men. What say you, monster, demon, devil conceived by the bleakest womb? What say you now?
The aristocrats. Oh god. It's orientation day!
Listen close. You've all been subcontracted as personal bodyguards to the Helsing organization.
Hey,
As you've
Melon,
heard,
have you
we
considered
deal with
checking out
special
Phoenix
interest
Wright Anime?
targets,
Oh, yeah, we
terrorists,
did.
cultists,
I
and
did put it
individuals who
on
believe themselves to
initially.
be of
Let me put it on.
a mystical persuasion.
Let's go. But I wasn't really sure what you wanted to, what would you want to like watch for clippy dips, my dude. I'm back too. Okay, welcome back. I don't know. Like, is this good?
Okay, I've got to pin this on somebody, quick. I know. Yeah, that dope will do.
Check out the dub version. It just sounds right. This one? That's good. Okay. Cool, yo. That's cool. Melon was so quiet too. Was I? He really enjoyed Helsing. Yeah, I was leaning back and watching it. Yeah.
Right.
It's funny. I haven't watched it in a while.
I'm Phoenix Wright, a defense attorney. I just earned my badge a few months ago, so I'm still a rookie. In fact, I'm beginning arguments in my first real trial today.
I guess we could do this like once a week, watching YouTubes and stuff. I was probably wanting for the first 3 games, for the show. Yeah. The rule is you always listen to the intro once, and then once you listen to once, are also Hecka anime intro. Oh. Sorry. I'm trying to find something. Made me think of something. Who doesn't put the, don't question Shoujo Lock? Yeah, I'll never question anything. What's the song I'm looking for? Is this it? Might be. Sounds pretty funky. Sorry.
Sorry if I worried you.
The trial begins at
I like
Sure hope you're
mixing
ready for it.
Yes. Thank
different
you for
shows
being
and different
here.
themes.
I know how valuable your time is.
Of course.
She weren't still wearing a
Couldn't take you
bra.
under my wing and then skip out on your big day. You're finally leaving the nest.
Wink.
Thanks.
Like, is she just wearing a bra?
So ambitious.
Look at those shoes, dude.
This is a homicide case. Not many people would take one on for their first trial.
bro.
I know what I'm getting myself into, boss. But I had to take it because I owe it to him.
Owe it to
To
him.
whom? The defendant?
Yes. Actually, I've known the guy ever since we were in grade school. He's part of the reason I wanted to be a defense lawyer in the first place.
Let's hope you can clear his name.
There's no way he's guilty. But how will I convince the judge?
How will I convince the judge? Sexy music starts playing. Larry Butts. he's gonna. Oh, we can just. You know I can full screen this, guys? Do you guys know I can full screen this the entire time? Why didn't we do this sooner? Oh boy. What is wrong with me? I don't usually full screen videos when I watch them on YouTube. I usually
That's
keep
my
them
client.
nowadays.
Good old Larry Butts.
Larry
He and
Butts.
I go way back. To say
Larry
the
Butts. His father, Harry
Dad,
Butts.
It's you! I didn't do it, I swear! Get your hands off of me, man! I'm innocent! Come on! I believe you, Larry. This isn't your style.
This isn't your
Their
style.
names all over the papers these days.
You wouldn't just
Not the
murder
kind of
them.
fame
You'd
you've
also
been
just
dreaming of.
you'd also poop on them too.
Okay.
That's why
This
you're named
guy
Larry
inspired
Butts.
you to become a lawyer? You were serious, right?
Yes. It's a long story. He's weird, but deep down, he's a stand-up guy.
He seems to have trouble sitting down.
Butts has always been a cheeky one.
Don't forget, to argue a solid defense, you have to believe in him and his innocence.
Right.
Larry Butts.
Dun, dun, dun. This court is hereby in session. We have been gathered today to hear the case against Mr. Larry Butts.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Then let us begin with your opening statement, Mr. Payne.
Yes, of course. The victim went by the name Cindy Stone. She had a promising international modeling career. It was cut short one afternoon by an act of violence. Her beautiful face bashed in inside her very own apartment.
Oh my God.
Autopsy reports put the
I know
time
they
of
said
death
it was a
between 4 and
homicide,
5 p.m.
but
We've identified this statuette of Rodin's The Thinker as
I
the
didn't think it
murder
was go
weapon,
this deep where this
which I would like
person's
to submit
face
to
got
the
just
court at
smashed
this
in.
time.
Accepted. I say, that is quite a modern representation.
Didn't you just hear the lawyer guy? It's Rodin, not modern. And this was a gift I made for my girlfriend.
Do you mean you sculpted this, Mr. Butts?
The defendant's fingerprints were indeed all over the weapon, Your Honor.
Are you serious? If you made it, your fingerprints would be all over it, you idiot. Help me, Nikki! You gotta let me state my case, man. I can't hang for this.
See, this is not even dub. This is a dub. This is not a
Call
parody.
Mr. Butts to the stand, Your
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is
Very
already
well.
redonkulous.
You may proceed.
Oh, yeah!
I wonder what we could do to make it worse.
Bad attitude and no control of his mouth. You know how to pick him.
Hello, Mr. Butts. Now, is it true you'd recently been dumped?
That's a lie! We even had Stony Butts picked out as our celebrity name. That has got to be the stupidest one I've ever heard. She had kind of been ignoring my calls lately, and she stood me up more than a few times.
Sorry, but that describes a breakup almost perfectly.
I wasn't dumped!
So, I should take that to mean you were aware of her recent travels overseas?
She went on a trip without me? Of course. Where'd she go?
Let's have a
Japan.
look at her passport.
Oh wait, there he
It
lived in
shows
Japan.
the victim returned from New York one day before the murder. We also found a photograph taken on this trip.
Huh? That's the Thinker.
Your Honor, I would also like to submit these items as evidence.
I'll accept them.
Hey! Hang on just a second, man. Who the hell took that picture?
The man with whom she was traveling.
Oh, hell no! She went on a...
You're
just giving them the rope to hang on, aren't you?
As you can see, he's mad with jealousy. So he had a clear motive, and he's obviously prone to fits of rage.
That is
When something
abundantly
smells,
clear.
it's usually the butts.
Ah! I'll admit, I'm passionate, but I'm no murderer.
I have one more question for you, Butts. Is it true you visited her apartment on the day in question?
Did I? I don't know. Huh?
Oh, wow. This Butts guy cracks under pressure, doesn't he?
Butts
You don't
cracks.
recall, huh? That's fine.
Got him.
Because I know you were there that day. I can place Mr. Butts at the scene that very afternoon, Your Honor. If it pleases the court, the
It's just
prosecution
not a style to
would now
murder
like to
people.
call upon our eyewitness to take the stand. Huh?
I have a witness?
Order! Order in the court! Bring the witness to the stand.
This is a real song. That's a real song in the trilogy. This
Hello.
like
This is where
the
things get real.
That one.
Hello?
Hello.
Who is this guy?
Sir, would you please state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Frank Solid, and I sell newspaper
I'm
subscriptions.
Frank
Mr.
Solid,
Solid,
and I
to the
know
best of
Harry
your
Butts
recollection,
cracks.
Please tell the court what you saw the day of the murder.
Yes. That day, I was going on door-to-door sales calls, as usual, when I saw a man slinking out of that poor young lady's apartment. Yes, that man sitting right behind me now.
Larry, you should have told me you were there.
He left the door open, so I looked inside to make sure things were okay. Needless to say, things were far from it. I saw the victim lying in a pool of blood. I was too terrified.
Oh, is
to
a
enter the
song in the
apartment.
trilogy.
So
When
instead,
something smells,
I
it's
rushed
usually
over
the
to a
butts.
nearby payphone to call the police.
All right. Well, you have represented something. A song. You can't just bring this up and expect me not to look it up. Let's go. This is Barry's song.
This all happened around 2 o'clock, by the way.
Why use a payphone? Was there not one closer to the sea?
Yes, but unfortunately, due to some utility repairs,
It's not bad, this is a bop.
blackout in the area from 1 to 6.
I mean, it's definitely better than listening to Linkin Park a million times in a stream, my dude. Not really a song, but like, yeah, no, you mean like kind of like a theme for the butts guy. I get you.
Something wrong?
Now, Mr. Wright, begin your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, you're up, Phoenix.
I don't know if the word theme is right either, but like, you know, like I know what you mean. Like, so basically that song would be used or whatever when
What he said to the evidence.
the
There's
butts
bound
guy
to be
is on screen or something when you dialogue with him or something.
Find where that is.
I will.
Good. You have everything you need.
I can turn it off now. Can I?
So do it.
I was jamming to it, dude.
Got this. Here we go.
Well, thanks for
The
permission.
witness is lying, Your Honor. In fact, there was a glaring contradiction in his testimony.
Oh, and just what exactly would that be?
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is if we all put our thinking caps on, I bet we could figure out what it is pretty quickly.
It's not a joke. You do have a brain, don't you? So use it.
Yeah, of course. The autopsy.
The autopsy.
It's in here. All right.
It was kind of ruining the mood of the. Sorry, bud. I know you're a fan. I'm not a fan. Don't want to
You
ruin
say
your
you found the
moment.
body at 2 p.m. Are you absolutely certain of the
You're
time?
good on the other things,
Yes,
so let's
without a
everyone
doubt.
be fair about everyone's things.
But according to the autopsy report, the victim died sometime after 4 p.m. It's right here in black and white. There it is. A clear contradiction.
Bravo. Brilliantly done, Phoenix.
It's fine. I'm sorry.
How do you respond, sir?
Give me a high five.
Well, it's because I heard the time being announced inside. My guess is it was the TV.
Yes, of course. Makes perfect sense.
Wait, does it? There was a blackout that day, all afternoon. So the television couldn't have been on at the time you stated.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm afraid it must have been the clock I heard instead. That fancy table clock.
I don't follow.
You know, the one that he used to kill that poor young woman, right there.
Sorry for the confusion, Your Honor, but this is indeed a clock. Twist the neck, and the thinker will clearly announce the exact time.
Pretty awesome idea, don't you think? Does he ever think? Just twist the neck and it tells the time. Saw it! You haven't been telling the truth.
Daylight savings time.
Recall your earlier testimony.
I was too terrified to enter the apartment.
You could only know this was a clock if you heard it announce the time. That means you did hear it when you were inside the apartment and twisted the statue's neck when you used it to strike the victim.
I think it's 2 o'clock.
Hearing that must have been quite a shock at that moment. And the time was burned into your memory. Right? Is that the truth?
Well, sir, how do you respond?
I can explain it, I swear. You got nothing on me! I saw it with my own 2 eyes, so stop with all these false accusations! He was the one who killed her!
Order, please! I will not tolerate such outbursts! Mr. Wright, do you have any way to prove that the witness did in fact hear the clock announce the time that day? It's mere speculation at the moment.
Well, let me think.
It's simple, really. All we have to do is cause the clock to sound, right here and now.
Yeah.
I think it's 9:25.
That is certainly a bizarre way to announce the time.
It's totally awesome! I'm the voice of the thinker! Ah!
But I'm sorry to say it doesn't prove anything one way or another.
Actually, kind of interesting.
25. Mr. Payne, what time is it right now?
Let's see. 11:25.
Huh? So the clock is 2 hours slow.
Recall that Mr. Sawitt's testimony was also 2 hours off, which is definitely no coincidence. Because what he heard was the very same clock I'm holding.
Yeah, that's one
Is that a
crazy
toupee that
story
guy's
you got
wearing?
there. But it doesn't matter one bit if the clock is running slow today, because you can't prove that it was running slow on the day of the murder. Well, got an answer for me? Take that, smart guy!
It also doesn't matter because he's the witness and
There's
you
no
can't.
way that you can prove it! So that means you've got nothing on me, pal!
Mistrial doesn't. All you have to do is get for a mistrial.
Mr. Wright, can you prove it?
Like that's all they have to do is because they don't need to prove that this guy is dead. All he has to do is prove the defendant didn't do it, and then they'll do another trial to convict this guy. So this kind of portion of it doesn't actually make a difference. Do you know what I mean? Because he's a witness, you can't try him. Do you know what I mean? All you're doing is discrediting him, and he's already been discredited enough.
Break moment.
I'm so close to the truth. I can't fail you now.
Like, he doesn't need the truth at this point. He already freed his friend. But, hey, whatever. It is anime after all. We gotta have those crazy scenes.
Objection!
If you have nothing further, I have no other option than to release Mr. Sawitt from the stand.
I take time out of my day to relive this horrible experience, and you call me a murderer? You might want to reconsider your career, Mr. Wright.
I'm sorry, Larry. I tried.
Thank you for your time. This concludes the defense's cross-examination of Frank Sawitt.
Hold it!
Boss, what is it?
Remember how I said logic kind of doesn't matter? Well, it kind of does. There's logic in this, but the grand scheme of logic doesn't matter. This is one of these moments. I see.
Laugh. Don't give in to despair. Believe in the truth.
Defense team, is there something you'd like to share with the court? This is your final chance, so speak up.
Truth is, I have no idea how to prove the clock was slow that day. Come on, think, Phoenix.
You've got to turn your thinking around.
Wait, what?
Look, we think the clock is wrong. But ask yourself this question. Could it actually be right?
2 hours. 2 hours.
Well then, it would seem the defense has nothing further to say after all.
I got it. 2 hours.
This concludes the cross-examination.
Objection!
No, his hair just fell off.
The reason the clock appears to be running 2 hours slow is this. Right here.
Yeah? How does that picture prove anything?
Think about it for a second. Time is relative. It depends on where you are, and according to her passport, the victim had just been overseas. The time difference between Japan and New York is 14 hours. So when it's 4 p.m. here, it's 2 a.m. there. 2 is 4.
That's 2 hours difference.
The victim took the clock with her on her trip, but she hadn't reset it to reflect local time yet. That's why the time you heard was exactly 2 hours off. The truth is, Sawitt did it!
Explodes and dies.
Arrest Mr. Sawitt immediately!
Posing as a newspaper salesman, Frank Sawitt had been burglarizing homes while the residents were away.
That was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty cool scene. I mean, I'm not really
But this time,
in love with it, but
the
I can
victim
see
returned while he was
that
still
flowed pretty
there.
well, and it was not like the
Cornered.
pacing was good.
He grabbed the statue and...
Voice acting's a little ridiculous though.
Order in the court!
I mean, else have any suggestions, or should we like?
Now, Mr. Wright,
Yes?
Start ending the
I must
We're
say,
doing
you've
this for like
done
an
an
hour. Or
incredible
should I just wait till like
job
11
today.
o'clock until he
In
misses
your
off?
first trial, you defended your client and discovered the true culprit.
Thank you. It's my job, Your Honor.
And now, it's time to deliver the verdict. Not guilty.
Obviously.
The rookie beat me! Well done, Phoenix. I'm proud of you.
Thanks for the help, boss. It
Thanks
means
for
a
the
lot
help,
to me.
I hereby declare this court adjourned.
You're the best, man.
Probably doing like another 30 minutes, but I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch
Said
just
he'd do
this. What
anything
else we
for
got?
Harry Butts.
Harry Butts.
Sorry, but the name's Larry?
Oh, forgive me.
Larry.
Butts.
It's cool. It happens all the time. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. I owe you big time,
Again.
lady. Hey, man. I was the one who saved your life. Oh, I got it. A token of my gratitude.
The best slice
Hold
of
on,
life
isn't
anime
this the
nobody
murder
talks
weapon?
about.
Oh no, that'd be creepy. It's exactly like that one.
Today-
I had made 2 of
I might
them and
watch
kept
that.
one for myself.
I might watch that.
I'd love for you to have it.
Yes, it
So
would
his
be an...
so his girlfriend dies.
I'll treasure it.
Oh wait, sorry, I missed
I
what you
loved
wrote.
it
It gets
with all my
this.
heart. She was running around
This is one of those
My
moments.
heart's broken,
You like show so
Mickey.
far? Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that.
This one, it gets crazier at the next case with ghosts and shit. Really. The funny thing is, your chat, it's weird. Like the chat is like sometimes not going through. Like your chat went through on Restreamer, where you said it gets crazier at next case with ghosts and shit. But on YouTube, the thing that you wrote doesn't even. Oh, how about this? Now I have it on live chat. Yeah, okay, that's what it is. Because I had it on Top Chat. So Top Chat, like, apparently clears out spam. That's why I probably wasn't reading all those times that guy was linking me YouTube videos. Oh, no, that explains it. All right, so now I know. Yeah, I like the show. It's neat. It's kind of awkward, though. He's trying to hit on that girl, even though her old girlfriend's dead.
Right.
So
Hey,
that's
thanks
why
a
I
lot,
couldn't
bro.
read. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. I can fix that. Boom, boom, boom. It's pretty cool. I just want to watch I just want to try to, like, you know, have a different experience, not just watch one thing.
Really spread your
It's
wings
just
and
me and
flew
you. I
together.
don't know. Everyone kind of disappeared.
I thought I was gonna crash and burn.
But you did.
We'll watch the next episode if I don't
won
like
the case
if
and
I
saved your
don't
friend.
like what I'm gonna watch next. All right, we'll say that at a time because I'm curious what the best slice of life anime is that no one knows
I'd
about.
like to talk
I
about
know about
another
you,
anime
but I'm
that
curious
I feel
about
deserves
this.
some more attention. Today's video is about the 1990s OVA series Yokohama Kaidashi Kiko.
I'm always curious about slice of life. I like slice of life stuff. I don't know about you, my dude, but I like slice of life.
Roughly translated as Yokohama Shopping Log, YKK is just about the most relaxing anime that I have ever seen. Sometime in the near future, mankind has entered its twilight years, and people are slowly disappearing from the landscape. The sea levels have risen, Mount Fuji has erupted, and Mother Nature is slowly taking back the roads of Yokohama one blade of grass at a time. Was there a war? Where have all the people gone?
Okay,
Is
that
there
might
a
actually
good
be really
reason to
interesting.
be so on guard when you're answering the doorbell in this world? All of these questions and more won't be answered because they're really not important to the story. At some point, we also developed androids that are so human, you can't even tell them from the few people that still dot the countryside. Well, except for the bright, colorful hair, of course. YKK follows the everyday life of one of these androids, a green-haired girl by the name of Alpha. She tends to her cafe in the ruins of Yokohama, waiting for her owner to return from a trip abroad. Occasionally she'll ride through the countryside on her Vespa, brew the odd cup of coffee, and sometimes she even gets a customer too. Yes, life has slowed down to a crawl at humanity's end, but that's just how life is at the quiet country cafe. So what actually happens in an anime with so few people anyway? Well, nothing worth making a video about. Alpha does get a new camera, she makes some friends, and throughout the series we watch her try to find meaning in her life as only an ageless android can. There aren't many characters in YKK, but even though they're not really fleshed out, they don't really need to be. Just from the few scenes that they're in, you'll feel like you're familiar with everybody in this show in no time. The local gas station is run by an old man with an ear-to-ear smile who everyone just calls G-san, and even the end of the world doesn't stop the local mailwoman from delivering packages. Alpha shoots the breeze with the few people that she does meet, and there's not an unlikable character among them. I love G-san especially, and everything about him just makes me want to smile. Normally, this is where I would talk about the story, but YKK doesn't really have one. With this anime, story doesn't come second, it comes third or even fourth. Some of its best qualities are its rich visuals, the calm mood that it sets, and its absolutely beautiful soundtrack. I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but the art direction in this anime is really something. I'm not familiar enough with director Takashi Anno's works to tell if all of his anime are like this, but take a look at this quick scene where a cloud passes by overhead. Well, would you look at that, it actually casts a shadow. It's that sort of attention to detail that I really appreciated on repeated viewings, and the more that I watch this anime, the more of these little touches I notice. Wind is really important here too, a gentle breeze, small reflections on the water. All of these little touches are accounted for and make for a very believable world. Watching this anime makes you feel like you're really there. Even the way that they frame each scene makes you feel like you're in the countryside. The zoomed out shots make the anime feel more open, which I feel is a really great decision. There's nothing worse than a show that just zooms in on a person's face 90% of the time. In episode 2 of the anime, the android Alpha survives a lightning strike, and she has some of her past literally shocked back into her, and what follows is so deliberately slow and relaxing that it makes me wonder how they even convinced the animators to draw it. How do you persuade a person to animate a girl getting up from bed, making a cup of coffee, and then watching the sunset with nothing but the sound of the wind to set the mood? This anime is based on an equally relaxing manga series with the same name by Hitoshi Ashinado.
I'll check this out. It looks cool. But it's not really that interesting. The review doesn't look that interesting. So let's go back to the episode 2.
I only argued one case before a judge, so I'm still a rookie. But as a defense lawyer, it's my job to help those who have no one in their corner.
No one in their corner. You just copy it.
It's so good to hear from you.
Hey, how are you, Maya?
Pretty good, I guess. It feels like I haven't seen
We're
you
back.
in forever. I miss you.
I know, I'm sorry.
Phoenix
Work's
Wright,
been
episode
crazy. So, you're good?
I mean, things are okay. But ever since my sister became a high-powered lawyer, I've been lonely.
High-powered lawyer.
Just kidding, I'm great. To be honest, I'm kind of loving the fact that I finally got my own place.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. I hate to call out of the blue and ask for a favor, but...
I bet I know what it is. You need me to hold some evidence for you, right?
That's right. I'm working on a pretty major case this time. And I've just got a feeling this stuff isn't safe at the office.
It's cool. So what have you got for me?
A rather
Oh
unique
god, this
little
voice
clock.
is obnoxious.
How?
Rodin's the Thinker is sitting on top of it, and he says the time out loud. You've always been a big fan of toys, right?
Come on! I may be your little sister, but I'm not a kid anymore.
Well, he would normally talk, but he's quiet at the moment. Because I had to take the electronics out of it. Now the insides are full of papers.
A brilliant place to stash important evidence.
You don't miss a beat.
Smart thinking to use the Thinker.
Her?
No, this is news to me.
She's gonna be stopping by here tonight. What do you think about joining the two of us for dinner?
Sounds wonderful.
Good. Why don't you meet us here at 9 sharp?
Yeah, I'll be there with bells on.
And with that, the prosecution rests its case.
Without further ado, I shall now deliver the verdict. Guilty!
Why wasn't I informed about that evidence?
You should be asking why your incompetent defense failed your client instead.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna pause this for now. We're just gonna do like, I don't know, I'm gonna get something to drink real quick. So let's get some, let's get some. Throw it on autoplay. Alright, I'll be right back. Right back.
Can you help me? Tell me what I'm doing here and how I move on. Or has it happened? Have I already won? Yeah, you have. I've been waiting patiently. Yes, you have. About to bust through the door. So can you help me? Yes, I can. Or do I have to help myself? California, here we go. 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 Love surrounds me, and I can give it back. Yes, I can. I must be cautious, not to find myself trapped. Don't get trapped. California, disguising what we lack. California, can you cut me some slack? California, here we go. 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 California,
What is happening? I got something to drink. And we're watching anime. Apologies. I was just getting something to drink.
Talk about night and day.
What's up, Mr. Spider? Ah, my ear.
Man, I'm late.
Unless you have something else you want to watch or something.
Did I miss him? Hey, boss, are you in here?
Bump, bump, bump.
Oh no! Are you okay?
I mean, everyone's getting murdered in this
Who's
show.
there? Wait, who are you? Oh, Don't be afraid. I'm an attorney here at the law firm. Hold on. Are you her little sister?
Free scumbags, it's the cops! And this is our crime scene! I'm Detective Dick Gumshoe with the District Police Force.
Sir, I think this might be important.
It appears to be some kind of receipt. Yeah. Ringing any bells, pal?
No.
Sir?
Watching ranking JoJo stands straightest to gayest. Oh,
What's
watch.
your
Oh.
name?
Maya Fey, her sister.
Alright.
Poor thing.
Case closed! Let's talk about this down at the station.
You're arresting her?
If it opens up.
That's right.
Since my attempt at using PewDiePie's name for views didn't work, I'm back to making gay JoJo videos. This time, I'm ranking stands on their sexuality. Now, you're probably asking, how can you decide if a stand that doesn't speak and has no personality is gay or not? Honestly, I have no fucking idea. I'm just doing this because my DMs have been anally destroyed by 12-year-olds asking for this video. I'm just gonna wing this shit because I know it will get me views. I'm going to rank the stands of only the main protagonists and villains of each part. Maybe I'll make a part 2 if this video does really well and I lose just the right amount of my self-worth. Alright, let's get started with the video. The straightest stand is, fuck it, just name something. It's a Star Platinum. Star Platinum is just too macho. Like I said in another video, strategy is for gay people, but Star Platinum solves all his problems with punching. He also solves all his problems with fingering. You think Star Finger is supposed to be a ranged attack? No, it's used to finger women from far distances. The only reason a stand would ever develop an ability to stretch its finger is because it was trying to hit that G-spot. Conclusion: Star Platinum is straight because he be fingering the pussy. Number 2 is Josuke's Crazy Diamond. Even though Crazy Diamond looks like a very powerful gay dom, I have reason to believe that he is straight. Let me ask you a question. What do straight males love? That's right, it's virgins. He has the ability to rewind the damage done to a person. So Crazy Diamond can turn back women into virgins, which is the ultimate ability for straight males. Conclusion: straight guys love virgins. Number 3 is Johnny Joestar's stand, Tusk. At first, I thought Tusk was gay because Tusk shoots fingernails. Any stand with a power involving fingernails like it's Catwoman seems gay. But then I realized there's no way Tusk could be gay. The reason being is that Jesus Christ himself gave Johnny that stand. There's no way that Jesus is just giving out gay stands like that because according to my Alabama pastor, the Bible hates the gays. Conclusion: Jesus hates gay stands. Number 4 is White Snake. Poochie is gay, but his stand is straight. White Snake just comes off as straight to me. I don't know, he literally makes mixtapes out of people. Every time I see him holding CDs, I feel like he's going to come up to me like, "Hey man, try to buy my mixtape. This one called Verses That Stop Time, featuring Young Jotaro." Conclusion: White Snake is straight because gay people don't pass out mixtapes, I guess. Jesus Christ, how am I going to finish this fucking video? Number 5 is King Crimson. Have you seen King Crimson? This stand has its 3rd and 4th eye open. This stand is too woke to even cling on the concept of gender and sexuality. Being able to erase time and see 10 seconds into the future is just a side effect of King Crimson's wokeness. Conclusion: King Crimson is too woke to be gay or straight. Number 6 is Stone Free. Stone Free is definitely lesbian. Think about it. Stone Free has turned Jolene's whole
Hey,
body into
what's up?
string. That means Stone Free had to do some magic on Jolene's coochie. Stone Free literally had to go up to that pussy and sprinkle some stand ability powder to turn that shit
What's
into
up, Eli?
string.
How you doing,
Now
Mr.
that's gay.
Davis?
Am I reaching with this argument?
We're watching some.
Yes, I am.
We're watching a rating system of whether what ranking that's ranking JoJo stands from straightest to gayest. If you disagree with this or you have a suggestion for a video to watch, then I don't know. Suggest
Number 7 is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Just listen to the name. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure that means D4C is giving head for $2. Dirty Deeds basically means male prostitution. He also is pulling men from other dimensions, which is pretty gay. D4C is just a tool for Funny Valentine to have sex with a version of himself from another dimension. Very much gay. Number 8 is The World. I think I already explained why The World is a gay stand in my Is Dio a Power Bottom video, so I'm not going to get too in-depth with my argument. All I'm going to say is stopping time is a very convenient power for gay sex. You can stop time while getting penetrated to plan your next move. Wait, did you just say that there is an endless amount of situations you can use time stop for? Sorry, I don't understand. My brain only thinks in gay JoJo. Number 9 is Yoshikage Kira's stand, Killer Queen. Do I need to even say anything when the stand is dressed as a completely pink gimp? Killer Queen looks like the sex slave of a very macho gay man. Number 10 is Soft and Wet. Let's be honest, guys. Soft and Wet is just a gay sailor that likes to blow bubbles. Number 11, or the gayest stand in this list, is Giorno's stand, Golden Experience. Now you may be asking, what's so gay about a stand that creates life and heal wounds? Well, it's because Golden Experience has to give Mist a head just for his powers to work. Also, I'm pretty sure Golden Experience and Giorno have an intense sexual relationship together. Just look at how they pose together. They're definitely fucking. Why do you think Giorno is the only JoJo that hasn't shown much sexual interest in any of the other characters? It's because Giorno has busted all his nuts into Golden Experience. He doesn't have enough semen for the other guys. That says something because Giorno is the descendant of Dio, and we all know Dio was fucking everybody. He had enough semen for the whole cast of JoJo. Golden Experience must be fucking Giorno like a rabbit, dude. Jared, you haven't paid rent in 2 months now. If you don't have the money right now, I'm calling the repo men. Please, just give me more time. I promise I'll have the money soon. Jared, I mean no disrespect, but I haven't seen you leave the house not once since your divorce. How do you expect me to believe that you'll have the money? I'm working on a project.
Melon, why are you
It's
still watching
almost
this?
done.
Because it's pretty good.
Once I'm done, I'll have more than enough money for rent. Jared, I'm giving you 2 more weeks just because I've known you for so long. 2 weeks is more than enough. I'm working on something that will change society as we know it.
It's pretty good.
Dad, when am I gonna be able to fuck the giant Bucciarati body pillow mecha?
What the fuck does that even mean? Oh. Okay, let's Russian Badger. What the hell's Russian Badger? Oh my god. Is this what am I watching? Give me a. It's funny gaming. So what am I supposed to watch? Like, I watch Dauntless.
You know that some cyclists in the Tour de France had blood that's so viscous and so thick that their heart rates were like 30 to 35 beats per minute, and when they slept, it would drop below 30, so they were at risk of death because their blood was so efficient at carrying red blood cells. So they would have to get up in the middle of the night to start riding their bike to get their blood flowing and their heart pumping, otherwise they could die in their sleep. And the YouTube comment on that video was straight up, "Now that's what I call ride or die."
I have pretty viscous blood as well, except instead of platelets, it's just bacon bits.
Watch some Fritz.
It's just bacon bits.
I really
and
like
gravy
this style,
pumping
but that seems like I would need Premiere for this. This looks like a lot of keyframing.
through Grouse's veins.
Bacon bits and corn
And a
syrup.
lot of pre-made like assets and stuff. Okay, let's watch what's Fritz. What's some Fritz? Is this Fritz? What are we watching for Fritz? Cursed Minecraft VR sounds like a thing. Let's watch some Fritz. All right, my YouTube's.
Hello.
Oi!
Oh shit.
Don't be so rude, man.
I'm sorry.
Looks like,
What the fuck?
this
My
looks
leg!
like terrorists and shit.
My fucking leg! What the hell was that?
Dude, it's fine. Here, hang on. I'll suck the venom out.
Okay. Okay.
You good?
I think it's almost gone.
Yeah, don't push your fucking luck.
Okay, let's go. What? My vinyl figurine is now available on youtube.com? Let's go!
What else you got? 'Cause this is kind of like whatever. What else you got, dude? What else you got? What else you got? So what do you got? What do you got? What do you got for me? Anything? Come on, what do you got? 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 Come on, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? Can you click on the links in this chat? I don't think so. But try, put it up. I don't think I see links. I don't think like YouTube allows links. I'm thinking. You're thinking. Alright, you think. Hey, what's mail? 1500 mail. What's up? What's up? I know something you can watch, but it's the greatest thing ever. This is my pee-pee. Alright, while you guys figure out what we're watching, I'll be watching this on loop for a bit. Alright.
This is my pee-pee. 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 This is my
Hello.
This is my pee-pee.
I love your vids.
This is my
Thanks, man. I made this last week.
This is my pee-pee.
Isn't that from Smosh?
This is my pee-pee.
This is from not Smosh. This is from, I think it's like Super Red or something. Yeah, Super Red. This is like 9 years old. They haven't made videos in a bajillion years. A bajillion years. Oh my god, my browser's being so laggy. That's because I have like a million tabs open.
This is my pee-pee.
I think you've gotten one of what the. I'm sorry, but I'm a girl. Okay. I don't know what that's a problem with. It's just a joke. Yeah, I don't know. They haven't put a video on forever. Last one they had was 10 months ago. Okay. Welcome. Anyways, yeah. What we're looking for. Anyway, so we're looking for videos to watch. I was just throwing this on. Yeah, but they haven't really made any funny things since, well, my pee-pee. And that's it's 4 years ago at the very least. Really sad. Really sad that the pee-pee is put on re. What is this? I mean, just any re. You just want any re. How about the B movie trailer? But every B is a re. How about that? That sounds like a good. That actually sounds like a good. Oh my god, my browser's being so laggy. Oh, you know what it is? I don't have hardware acceleration on anymore because I had to watch any Austin Evans vid. Yeah, I'll watch something, that's for sure. I think it's gonna turn hardware acceleration off.
For thousands of years, humans have
Otherwise, I couldn't do
misunderstood
window
them
capture.
and feared them. Now,
Yes,
one
watch-
in a turtleneck sweater is
Yes,
gonna
just throwing
change
a. Why not watch a meme
everything.
playlist? They make meme playlists now.
Why does his life have any less value than yours?
Oh, because
I gotta say something.
because
Like
he's
jazz.
human.
You're talking to humans. You're flying outside the hive.
Barry
Austin.
So you see soda spilled on a sidewalk and you don't drink it?
is a little
He's not bothering anybody. Get out of here, you creep.
discovering a big secret.
How did this get here?
It's just honey, Barry.
This is stealing. Cute Golden Blossom. Ray Liotta Private Select. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
You have a plan?
Weird internet shit.
He's brave.
All right. Well, first I want to figure this Austin Evans guy is. Yeah, never mind. We're good. Okay. Just his face just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Oh my god, my browser's so slow right now. Is it because I have so many tabs open? I literally have like a bajillion tabs open right now. Could this be my tab? Could we have that? Why not watch a meme playlist? We're watching a meme playlist in a second. Weird internet shit. Is this the playlist we want? Weird internet shit. Okay, we're going for it. We're there. Wow. Oh my god. Wow. Is it the same? Okay. Well, so far we haven't seen a single thing that's weird. I mean, it's a little weird, baby. Oh, I love this. I love when the guy falls from the ceiling.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Billy.
It's a playlist for a weird video playlist. What? Life gives you lemons.
Well, life gives you lemons.
Then afterwards we drop into a quiet little place and have a drink or two. And then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like
I just gotta make a video and get on this playlist.
How would you define the music of Nirvana? With a twist of lemon.
Don't kill me! Don't kill me, man!
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want
Are you
to
a
tell all your
furry?
friends about me.
What are you?
No. I'm Batman.
Yeah.
I don't like that my name's
hell
Jeff
are
memes, to be honest.
You know. You all know exactly
Who?
who I am.
Well, uh-oh. Odd
name's
one
Jeff.
shout latest vid.
I'm
Odd one's out?
What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Ross!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblams, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
What? That's funny. I do like locking the taskbar.
Yeah.
How many of these are Jeffs? Because I can't deal with Jeffs after a while. I hope I chop my chicken. Song name? Darude Sandstorm.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Oh! Oh my god!
Watch Odd Ones Out. Yeah, yeah. We'll do that after I'll give it to like 5 more. We'll swap.
It's the motherfucking remix!
Oh, this is a Darude Sandstorm. Pelican. Okay, I might be having a little stroke here, like a sensory stroke. How did he do that? Like, he must have been using Premiere, because if you've gone in Vegas, you're freaking on Vegas. Like, your shit will just explode. They can't do that many tracks.
Wait! Who are you?
My name is Jeff.
I hate that meme.
I will tell you though, Turkey's gonna have the best looking heads. You know what I'm saying? You guys walked up?
Flamingo. Alright. First things first, we're gonna go and see. The first suggestion was Odd Ones Out. Oh my god, could you just, oh my god, my mouse is not working. What's this new, like, stop. Oh my god, I hate this, like, the way they do it now, or everything's buggy read. Okay, I'm gonna start closing some tabs. Maybe that'll help me with my, what are we watching with the Odd Ones Out thing? I don't, stop, just freaking work. Odd Ones Out is godly. It's just not loading, like, nothing, I think it's because I don't have hardware acceleration on anymore. It's just might be my fault. Alright, we're gonna close the tab. Here, I'll close some more tabs. That'll help us. Actually, it could be. Am I using a lot of memory or something? 46 memory, 56%. No, nothing's pegging. So we're just gonna wait for this thing to load. Oh boy, this is fun, guys. And of course, because of the browser lagging, it just goes to back to here again. Oh my god, Jesus Christ, could you please just work? Oh my god, this is gonna blow my brains, dude. I'm gonna scream in a second. It's so slow. I might turn hardware acceleration on and then go to, I'm gonna do it. Screw it. We're going hardware acceleration. I can't deal with this crap anymore. Alright, so that means that we're gonna have to relaunch, so everyone just chill for like a second. Okay, just chill. I can't read chat. I'm relaunching my Chrome. Just chill. Alright, Chrome is being relaunched. I won't be able to see anything for a second. I have to change this to display capture. Hopefully display capture works. We're going to put display capture on monitor this one. All right, cool. And we're just going to slide the display capture into the DMs here. All right, you going down here, my friend? Beautiful. Look at that. And we'll turn off window capture. So that should work. And now we shouldn't have any issues with loading. Oh, look at that, like 2 seconds. Bam. Boom, boom.
Me, Jaden, Domix, Ross, and Aaron are all going on tour doing a show called Scribble Showdown. We're going to these cities on these
I
dates.
like
So if you
Jaden
want to see us play
animations.
some drawing games live, you
All
can
right,
go to
so
Scribble
what are we watching
Showdown.
with this? The WAD one out. This is just movie sequels, I guess?
Me, Jaden, Domix, Ross, and Aaron are all going on tour doing a show.
I don't care. Why was I watching any of that shit? Because I don't care about Odd One Out. Okay, we're going to skip that. We're going to Flamingo. YouTuber called Flamingo. What are we watching Flamingo?
Hey,
Oh my
what's
God.
Flamingo? Is Flamingo like...
Alright, okay, this is... What should I do? I'll do a Roblox thing. This looks kind of weird, so let's do this one.
Kaden, where are you?
I don't know, dude. I'm in this room with not you in it.
I'm in the same room.
Really?
This is actually Roblox?
Yeah, I don't see you though, because you're not in it. Hey guys, Isolator. You are locked in a building. Behind the wall is the second player who's locked up with you. Your task is to find a way out, passing information to each other via chat.
Oh, that might be cool. It looks like Roblox has some cool shit, dude. I might start playing some Roblox. I'm not gonna lie about this. Like, maybe not like stream-wise, because I have some weird issues when I try to stream it. But I might start doing it like at least like some videos or something, because the Roblox has a lot of potential. You love him. Ooh wee. What's your favorite video? Because that one seemed like a lot of effort to get into. What is a good one that we can all love from just watching it for like 2 seconds? What is the BS video that doesn't require me to know the lore of this channel? What would you say? Would you say it's the Roblox? Yeah, the Roblox video. Yeah, which one? Watch some Ruben Sim. Chill. We're doing this one first. We'll move on to the next suggestion. So keep your suggestions pegged in the brains, and we'll work our way forward. I'm gonna go with this one because the Breath of the Wild. I'm interested in this. Does he take? Does he tan himself? Because like, what's with the eyes? I'm not trying to like do the 2 first vids, like the top. Is it like? Does he go to like the 2 first 100 people? Okay, we'll do that one.
Okay, I just found something really sick. Roblox, but it's inside Roblox. You'll see what I mean in a second. So you go in here, and then you see this. Dear Roblox moderator, the content below is being rendered from a game that was requested by a user in exchange for Robux via dev. It is not our fault if it contains rule-breaking content, since this game is rarely moderated. So, that being in question, you can control... Okay, so what you're seeing right now... what you're seeing right now is actually a robot being controlled by all of us.
He doesn't.
So
But why is
literally,
his eyes?
the
Why is his
bot
eyes
being
so
found
bright?
right
Because
here.
that's like representation. Unless it's just like maybe that one video was just really weirdly rendered. But like the way it looked, like it looks like, you know how you put like goggles over your eyes so you don't blind yourself in the UV treatment. That's why like your face would be kind of pale, like right there, so you don't like blind yourself.
Robot 1004. Now, if I can join him,
But maybe
game's
just the way the
cool.
lighting's
So
working
that
or something.
We can just put that robot account in any game we want. We can make him say whatever we want. We can make him do. I don't know if we can make him say things. Oh my God! Look, it goes on the actual website.
He has had
too.
lighting. Ah,
He's joining
maybe
a
just really bad
game.
lighting at the time.
The
That would be.
robot is joining a game because somebody told it to. A Bloxburg scam game. Okay, I'm gonna follow the robot. I gotta get into a game with him, bro. I don't even gotta like I'm just gonna send robots out just to start breaking rules. Die! Laser gun. Give me that. 750 Robux. It didn't even give me a laser gun. So here's the robot. Red laser gun for 75 Robux. Doesn't work either. Admin powers, please work. Kill robot. Come on, just die already. What? Just everyone on there just has to see this hot, beautiful girl right here. See, I don't even gotta online date you anymore. I'm sending my robots to online date you. Look, we're all just bully the robot. What if you try
No,
to
that's pretty
send,
funny.
like,
I'll save this for later. All right, so what we got next? What's next? Suggestions. We got Flamingo. We did. Somebody suggested something else. Jaden Animations. Let's try that. Sorry. Look how much quicker this moves. Now we have hardware accelerators on, man. If you go to Roblox, friend me. I don't have Roblox right now. I probably do, but I don't know what it is, to be honest. I haven't used Roblox in
Hey,
forever.
do you like?
Why is everyone you like suggest sound like they're freaking drunk? Like that
Hey,
guy.
do you like The Odd Ones Out, or Domix, or Rubber Ninja, or Ego Raptor, Aaron Hansen, or most importantly, Many Laughs, and me? Then hey, you should go to scribbleshowdown.com.
All right. Is there there's something where they're not advertising something? Things about relationships. Okay.
People are so complicated that most of us don't even understand our feelings and thoughts half the time. Yet here we
This
are,
one's for you,
7.5 billion of
Spider,
us stuck on
or
this
Mario
rock,
Cat.
having to interact with each other, everyone with different goals and values and beliefs, and we all gotta try and get along. And also, some people have knives and no emotional reaction to murder. But that's not the point. When I say relationships, I'm talking about any type of interaction between people. Friends, family, colleagues, when you do the kisses with someone. Red flags are a term that everyone's familiar with. That person cheats on everyone they've been with, red flag. That person only uses people for their personal benefit, red flag. That person doesn't wipe off the knife after spreading butter on toast, and when they go for more butter, little crumbs get stuck in the
Oh,
tub.
that's disgusting.
Red flag. But what
Totally,
about red
yeah.
flags that only start revealing themselves once you've built trust with someone and have a connection with? When your opinion of someone is positive, those flags can start being overlooked, or you start saying, oh, but they're a good person. I trust them. Oh, I mean, they wouldn't want to hurt me on purpose. It's easy to rationalize warning signs of a bad relationship when you have a positive view of someone, but it doesn't mean that they're not there or should be ignored. They're still being a jerk. It's just complicated by your history together. I think the majority of people tend to be too nice, or passive, or overly understanding. It's really common and easy to do. Because of that, toxic relationships are much more prevalent than you'd realize, and it can be difficult to know what to look for. There's a chance you're in a hurtful relationship right now and don't even realize it. The term manipulation gets thrown around a lot, and because of that, I think a lot of people would feel they would be able to identify manipulation if it happened to themselves. But it's not as easy as, Chad and Sally are dating. Sally wants to go out with friends. Chad forces Sally to stay home with him. Chad's a manipulator. Yeah, that's actually a super common manipulative situation. But the way manipulation works is that it builds up slowly over time and is almost entirely emotional. Chad might instead start isolating Sally from her
it's
friends
subtle
by nitpicking things
and
he doesn't like
nuanced.
about an individual person at a time.
Watch
I don't like how Nick
Bachelor
talks
Life,
to a lot
not
of girls.
your average
It's kinda
girl.
weird. Don't you think Dawn drinks too much? That's not too responsible of her.
I mean, Bachelor Life, Gacha Life, Bachelor Life, Bachelor Life, Bachelor Life, Gacha Life, Gacha Life, Bachelor Life, Bachelor Life. Is this a YouTuber or a video? Bachelor Life. Am I watching a YouTube thing, or am I watching? And is this gotcha? What am I doing? Let's do this one. This is what I'm watching? Oh my god. I might. What do we... Oh my god. Do the first video? Okay. Oh, good. Animation. There we go. Sliding. Yeah, that holds a beat. I mean, this is... So I don't hate this, but I don't know if this is gonna be for me though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like hate outright like what we're doing right now, but like, I just don't know like if this will be for me. But I like the effort they're putting into it. Like, it's cool. It looks like they're putting a lot of effort into it. And I don't like hate the style, but I don't know if the content's gonna be for me. You know? That's what I meant. I don't know if the content's for me. But it looks interesting. Like the production value looks interesting for the starting, but the frame by frame is definitely something I can't fall in love with all the time. And then there's just text dialogue. They need voice actors. They totally need voice actors. Like even with this being frame by frame, it would be okay if they had voice actors. I could, like, the animation's fine, like, even though it's like kind of simplified, but I just can't deal with subtitles. I mean, I can, but I think it takes you out of it because it's already slow as it is, and now it's slowing it down further. They could probably shorten, because it would probably definitely help shorten down the episode from like 15 minutes to like 12 minutes, because instead they have to wait for the text to be read and go through. I don't know. It's cool though. I like the animation style. I like the visuals. It's like zombie. But it's definitely something I just can't get into because of the text. But it's cool though. I mean, I wish they're obviously getting a lot of views for this. Obviously, it's kind of cool. It does make you think though, because like these are limiting factors that some people think hold them back, but they're accepting the limiting factors and just going with it and still doing what they like and love, which is actually really impressive. Because like some people would say, well, I can't get voice actors, so I'm just gonna completely drop this project. But you know, they're doing their thing. What time is it? 11:16. So we'll do one more suggestion. Does Spider Cat have something? Not Spider Cat. Does Mario Cat have something, or does LeBron have something, or are we kind of out of ideas here? Let's throw some music on while we're waiting. That's cool though. I've stumbled in a bad time, haven't I? Oh, Ben Dog, we're watching stuff on YouTube's. Gotcha life. Oh boy. Well, it's like everything on my. When we do this stuff, I suggested Roblox YouTubers. Yeah, can you react to Lennon the Bunny? I guess I could. Why not? Let's do some Lennon the Bunny. I'll pause that real quick. Lennon, what is Lennon the Bunny? Is this like a? Let's get this mic all the way up here in my mouth.
Officially on
What am I watching? Specifically? What are we watching specifically? What are we doing right now? What are we watching? What are we doing? How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do this, Duderinos? Well, the bus was pulling away as I came out. It still says a sign, so I hope another one. Okay, it says scheduled for Womp. Sorry, man. Okay. Sorry, I was just typing to Ignis. Sorry. I love how you sound excited when you arrive. I am excited. I did this to confuse you. Wait, what? I did this to confuse you? What? Cute flutes and more. Is that a name of a video? I did this to confuse you. Am I? Oh my God! Wrong. Control F. Of course, I'm excited when I see you, Ben Dog. What's up? Also, Ben Dog, I should give you a moderator. Let's give you moderator status on our channel. And put in timeout. Add moderator. Bam. I love how you. I did this to confuse you, like in general. Hey Melon, what's up, man? How you been, man? So what are we doing? What are we looking at? What's the video we're looking at? Cats, flutes, and more? I think that's the name. React to Robert Hempman. I want to react to this thing first. Should I just pick a random video? What's the shortest one? Can we do that by length? Nope. What's the shortest video? This is the shortest video. I will react. This is the shorter video. That's the shortest video. Okay, we're gonna react to this one. It's the shortest video here. All right, we're doing it. We're going live. We're doing it live. I really don't care. I'm dead. Nope. So they're just petting their Betty. I hope you guys don't see the confused at the top, do you? Oh, you do. Okay. All right. 2. They look for you. Okay. These are signs that your bunny is depressed, or no, your bunny loves you. I'm sorry. All right. Glad we found out my bunny loves me if they look for me. They blinky. Oh. Yeah. Me too. I blinky all the time. That's how you know I love you. Blink, blinky. Oh, blinky, like that's blinky? Is that jump thing a blinky? I thought it was signs your bunny's depressed. I'm sorry. I misread the title. My dog doesn't need signs. What was this? Wait, sorry, I missed it. I was reading chat. What was the sign for this one? They sleep? They lay or flop near you. Okay. Whew. Got worried there. Oh yeah, my dog does this too. Wow, my dog must love me. How many bunnies does this person have? They share food with you. Oh. Well, it's more like you're sharing food with them because you're giving them a banana. No, you're giving them food. You're the one. You're sharing the food with them. They're not going around like, oh, I got a carrot, and it brings around his little whiskers and yum 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 yum. It's like, oh, but Melon, here, hop, throws on your lap. Have some carrot with me. That's not what's happening. You have a thing of fruit and you're giving it some. You're the one sharing it. Okay. Ugh, I hate feet. Gross. They nudge you. All right. They nudge you. Looks like you're nudging them. Okay, that was being nudged. Okay. But maybe it's because looking for food because all you do is share food with them. Oh, I like that noise. That's cute. She only has one when those are her friends. Ah, they kiss you. Oh. They're like, where's my food? Where's that banana? Oh, man. And there we have it. Rabbits are happy. Rabbits are a girl's best friend. All right, Robert Hempman. Whoa, God, what are we doing with this guy? This is gonna be some weird stuff. I can already see it. Like, this like black and white framing. Like all these videos just look like are very foreboding to something really weird. So where should we go to? They're happy, not depressed. I'm sorry. Sorry. Apologies. I'm back. Okay, so what are we clicking on for this Hempman thing? Who suggested this? That was Ben Dog. Ben Dog the Magnificent. What are we doing? Daisy leaves, Daisy makes a mess, Daisy plays hide and seek, Daisy tumbles. There's a lot about Daisy. Who's this Daisy? Anyone you want. Daisy arrives. Let's continuity purposes. Wait, Daisy leaves? Whoa. Daisy arrives and Daisy leaves. I got a feeling to that there might be a story about Daisy coming here to visit. I'm thinking here. Daisy's coming to visit a family friend or someone, and then they're gonna leave, like after a week. Well, I don't know. 4 years is really hard to say, but we'll say. All right, so Daisy's arriving here. So far, I see a chair, and I'm reacting to it, and there's a book that's open. I'm really not sure what's I'm seeing. What the fuck am I looking at? I'm sorry. Oh my God. I kind of ruined it when I started skimming the, Oh, I think people covered this before. I'm sure people have. So we'll say Daisy leaving's this. Or I think we're good with this. I think we're done. I get the purpose. It's like some like fake stuff that's kind of spoopy. Oh, that's kind of spoopy. So the best parkour VR, but yeah, scary ones. Yeah, scary ones. Scary parkour. Scary parkour. What? Like this? What do you mean scary? What? What am I looking for? I'll type in scary. Watch some remainings? Orders remainings? What the heck are you guys talking about? Okay, we'll do this one. This guy's in the toilet. Is this like what parkour is? On a cliff, it's animated. On a cliff. Okay, on a cliff. Parkour. On a cliff. On a cliff. If my typing works. Oh my God, what's going on here? All right, here. On a cliff. Excuse me. Climbing a mountain in VR. Is this what I'm looking for? On a cliff and it's anime. I don't. This one?
Oh, I'm okay. Everything's okay, guys.
Wait, the first one? Okay. We go for the first one because that is the future of all television. I think. Wow. I thought like it was hardware acceleration, but it might just be YouTube.
Going again? In the description below if you want to go pick up a riff for yourself. 200 quid cheaper than the HTC Vive.
I just can't. I know I shouldn't be generalizing here, but his voice does not match his like whole attire. I'm thinking you know, like kind of like a worker at a gas station, or somebody lives in like LA, but
At the moment, that link will show them that you came from me. Anyway, the VR game we have today, another top-tier game for Oculus Rift, is The Climb.
yeah, find it. You probably can't get the URL in the YouTube thing. So just if you can give me the title, I can find that easier. That works. Like titles are good. I'm good with titles. I'm a smart boy when it comes to titles. Oh my god, I thought it would be better, but it's like it's about the same as it was. It's unfortunate. Okay. All right, we got the companions. Why do you find the weirdest stuff? Hang on, let me find it. Hang on, let me type it all. Okay. Well, we're gonna look at this thing because this is some weird stuff. That thanks to Ben Dog. Yeah, I've seen this. I know all this stuff, man. Best go over there and subscribe. Okay, this is just stupid. What am I even looking at, dude? Arsh House Kitchen. Is this all they did was like combine like? Yet this thing has 73,000 views, dude. Ah man, what a great video. All right. Yeah, let's go with this one. Friendship. This is what friendship's about, right? One video. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, okay. I believe you, dude. Alright, I'm not watching that. This is an autoplay. What do we got going on my Ignis apparently doesn't have a bus ride, so I might have to hire an Uber. Let's see. What do I'm just weird that all this weird stuff you've given to me is giving me like weird recommendations. So far, no. Okay. Not like that bad, which is good. I'm caught in a sexy demon love triangle. Oh my god. Sorry, Ignis is apparently her bus isn't coming, so she might have to get a taxi, which will cost some buco bucks. And that's some bad stoof. Measure a Man official trailer. This just sounds weird. Okay. I'm assuming what's happening so far. I'm just looking at videos while people give me more videos and confuse me. I'm assuming this is gonna be about a penis. I'm assuming this is about some guy's pee-pee being small or big.
When I think about you, I still see this pudgy baby, and then I open my eyes and I see this big kid, and I think, what have I done wrong? Good morning. Happy first day of summer.
You can't hang out here all summer bothering your mother. You're going to kids.
What was that?
Hi.
I was hoping you weren't his girlfriend.
She's my sister.
Very nice.
You.
Ignore him. He was dropped on his head at birth.
Wait, what was that? What was even that noise?
Got a job.
Oh.
You will work Monday
Oh,
to Friday,
thank you.
9 to 3.
You won't regret for a
I
moment
lost the
hiring me.
live, but I'm back. VR.
The
Okay,
curse
gotcha.
of the summer, people. They dangle their money around to make us do whatever they want.
Joni Williams, can I see you tomorrow?
I wish you lots of luck, Bobby Marks, and I'll be back in a few weeks. Mwah.
Wow. I just want to see what. Oh, you can suggest videos.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm up here.
You sure everything's okay with you?
I'm not a kid anymore.
You'd tell me if it wasn't, wouldn't you?
So this has
Hey,
nothing.
I'm grown up.
So this has nothing to do with his penis. It's just he's fat. Ugh, damn it. All right, watching people. This is what's called. Wait, what? VR arachnophobia. Oh, okay. All right, let's go with BuzzFeed then, because BuzzFeed is my favorite channel. My favorite channel. Oh my God, another one. What? What is going on here? Mario Cat. Thanks, man.
So we're gonna be playing the.
Are you just
VR
unsubscribed and
game,
just
Don't
resubscribe?
Let Go.
And it's called it.
I gotta really fix that alert.
I
I haven't touched in the settings for this.
If we do let go, we have to eat a real spider.
Which I refuse to do. I will not be doing that today.
I think like probably what I'm most afraid of, I don't like things in like large quantities.
Anytime there's like a swarm of bugs.
Hopefully there's no swarms of insects.
Anything with like too many legs, I'm not into.
I also think VR in general is kind of scary.
It also makes
VR
me
is
super
scary, yeah.
nauseous.
I just hope that there's not a snake, and I hope that there's not a cat.
I've played
That's what's
scary
called VR.
games
Okay, we'll do
before
that one.
Where I can't even hold on to.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm joking. VR. Oh my God, it's because I'm not copying the whole word. Right. Okay, VR arachnophobia, jump from mountain. VR arachnophobia, jump from mountain. Okay. I want to say. Why am I not getting the video that you're suggesting? The second one? Okay, gotcha.
Welcome to YouTube channel 3DVR 360.
The voice always gets me. Alright, we'll be looking for. I guess you're supposed to have like the VR Google thing set up, so obviously you just be looking at one of these right now. But it's because these are supposed to go into each eyeball, right? That's like the phone card thing you wear on your head, I assume. Alright, let's Oops, I didn't mean to hit that button actually. Is there a way to like not make it? No, that would be just a video uploader, wouldn't it? Okay, we'll keep it as is. Everyone just cover half your screen. Or put your monitor really close to your face. One second, I'm gonna do that real quick.
Looking pretty good.
But like that's like the whole thing about VR. Like it's neat for like gimmicky stuff like this. But overall, I don't see, for me at least, personally, I don't see much use case where I would actually really enjoy it as like, you know, putting like $600, $700 into a platform. But like watching a movie, I can see that being cool. But I just don't see the need to want to spend money on a platform. It does look pretty neat. Does he jump off of this eventually, or is it just a climbing thing? Oh, it's just climbing. Cool. I got your video ready, Mr. Ben Dog. So we'll jump to that once we're done with this. Kind of reminds me of Tomb Raider. The not the newest one, but the newer one. Well, I guess they're all kind of the same. Just like how they're just cliff jumping. Hang on, just wait. You can skip like a minute, but you gotta watch the end. Okay. Skip like a minute, so like right there. I will watch the end. I'm a completionist after all. Oh, dude, that jump. But it's kind of cool though. Like you don't really know how to do what you like. You don't really know the path you're supposed to take. You have like that flag gives you somewhat of an outline, but overall you don't. You have to make your own path, kind of. I guess that's like kind of the idea, which is kind of cool. Like allows you for a more open and free experience, we presume. But that's like the impression I'm getting. It kind of reminds me of like Assassin's Creed's parkour stuff, but that was kind of gimmicky as heck because it's like just hold one key and just directional. Ugh. And the tree collapses. Jump, jump, jump. You probably would die from this height though, but jump. It still blows my mind at something like water. But like, depending on your velocity, it acts like a brick wall when you impact it. Like, it makes sense on a physics level, but just in my brain, like, you know, I can't fathom it being like a brick wall. But then again, I've been hit. You get spared with a high pressure hose, kind of like the inverse of that. So like, that stuff can like tear off skin or knock people over. So why couldn't it like destroy your body? The gruesomeness. Oh my god, is he really going for that? Oh no, there's no way he'd live from that. That falls way too high. That was like... Sorry, my disbelief is pumping right now. I'm disbelieving this to the train and back. I'm gonna go supply you with many videos. Alright, we'll just keep them one at a time, bud. Let me get to the other one first. I don't think it, man. I don't think he would survive that. I think he'd break his arms. That was a pretty high jump. That was like, I don't know, about like 5 stories, 6 stories. And there's a body. What? Is that him? Oh! Oh, show. Yeah. Funny, bud. Funny video, dude. Oh no, one second, I clicked a link.
Drake.
I clicked a link. Oh man, I clicked the link instead of copying the link. Apparently you can't copy a link. You can't click the link or just copies. It just opens it up. I had to do that to you. Yeah, I know that. I deserved it, eh?
What? Where's
Jeffrey Epstein?
Mario Cat.
Put him on suicide watch.
You were supposed to
monitor him constantly.
Dude, I'm gonna. Oh, really? Yes. So go
check on him.
Okay, I will.
Just me. I was wondering why. You could... Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
I see the problem.
Oopsies. Nice.
Nothing makes me feel more like a woman than being on my period. Wouldn't it be great if you could be on your period for more than 3 to 5 days a month? Thanks to 30-Day Menstruate, I've been on my period for 3 years. You're gonna be losing liters of blood. My mom used to say, you're a brat when you're on your period. But now I'm always on my period and you can't even tell the difference. 30-Day Menstruate is the best thing that's ever happened.
What?
What was that?
What? Why would you get this video? No, don't. Where'd you get this video? This video's great. Oh, I'm gonna add this to my my meme channel.
For more than 3 to 5 days.
Copy this over to my meme channel real quick. I need to add this to my meme channel. There we go. Now it's been added to the meme channel. Okay, 30-Day Menstruate is there. What else we got? You melons. React to Quinceldelia's vines. Oh, Quincedelia. I hate vines, dude. Vines are the epitome of lazy. But we'll look at them. Why not? Oh my. Let's go with this one. It's short as well.
Hello, more like hello.
I've seen these already. I'm not watching these. These are awful. and she like chokes on her Jello or something. I don't know. I just know from talking that they're not. I'm gonna get the brain damage. I already have the brain damage, but I'm definitely gonna get the brain damage.
It's called Sis Killer.
Oh, you guys keep unsubbing and resubbing. Thanks, dude. That's an awful video too. Why would you do? I might actually watch these vines now because you just gave me a crap video. How does that make you feel? You actually make me want to watch a vine. We'll go with the shorter. Is there anything shorter than 10 minutes? Come on, man. Just give me something shorter. Ah, yes. The old 9 minutes and 2 seconds. Watch King Vader Vine. I might. Aren't vines dead though? We're gonna have to fast forward a bit. Oh wait, not that far back. Is that the waxing thing you do when you wax in yourself? How do you bend like that? I know I'm like weirded out, but how do you bend like that? Can I bend like that? Am I just really lazy and not realize I can bend like that? I might be.
On God, on Jesus.
Oh, she broke her thing. Okay, let's watch this one.
What are your talents?
I've seen that one.
If honestly, at the end of the day, it's not even worth my time, man.
Yeah, alright. You better walk away. You already know who the fuck this is.
This is Sparta!
Wow, man. That's
I'm
like
the strongest motherfucker in the world, bitch!
I've seen it before, but it always gets me. Alright, so that's that one done. What else you got for me? Babysitting for my celebrity crush complicates business. You guys see Brandon Rogers before? You guys ever watch Brandon Rogers?
Good morning, sweetie. You ready for Mama to chaperone you on your first school
I'm gonna go play
field
Roblox
trip?
as a noob because my account got hacked. Well, I haven't played Roblox in forever. I might start making some footage with it. I want to make at least a kind of like a documentary type kind of like thing on it, but I have to like write out a script and stuff and like a whole dissertation and why it's amazing and whatnot. But I might start making some stuff.
Samantha, wake up! We're leaving in -6 minutes! Wake up your fucking sister! Hurry up! We're losing time! Where the hell is my rash ointment? Fuck it, Mama's gonna itch. I'm gonna need a priest to... Samantha, we're leaving in 3 seconds! The shower's gonna have to be PTA! Pits! Ass. I need cum. Let's go! No time for Caillou! No time for seatbelt! Hold on! Mama's gonna gas this thing! Get ready to go through time!
Oh, what do you got for me? What is this? What's this video?
Yes, the handsome guy in the front.
Have you ever had a dream that that you could do so you
might end it
you want
very
to
soon.
do so much you could do anything.
All right. Who wants to give me the
That was
last
one of the best questions I've ever been asked.
video? Whoever gives me the next video will be not at this one, but next video suggestion will be the last video. We'll watch it all the way through. So it's up to you guys. Hurry up, get all your requests in. I'll give you a whole 2 minutes to get your requests in. So we'll watch anything you put in here all the way through. Anything. If I see like 5 things, I'll pick one randomly, okay? And that's how we'll do it. So the time's ticking. All right, the time's ticking. All right, figure it out. You have till 11:47 or 2 minutes. Okay. 2 minutes. Hurry up. Get your, and we'll watch it anything you want all the way through. This is a special thing, because it could be the most disgusting or the most blah, 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 blah thing ever, and it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Look at all the power I'm giving you. It could be anything. It could just be, we got one video in. Only one video, we're gonna only watch one video. This video's kinda neat. But not. Just, tits and ass. How long we stream on YouTube? 2 hours almost. 2.5. Jeez. Okay, that would explain. Watch that one. Oh, there's 2 there. You have to end the song, I guess. No, you have to. Still 1 more minute. I mean, I can watch both of them. I can watch all 3 at the same time. Is that cool? This song's a bop, dude. Set them on my playlist. Like, this video just makes my brain explode. Not really, but it just, I like the frame. I think it's not a fisheye. Where is it a fisheye? Alright, okay. I have 4 videos. We have 4 videos. Let's go and start throwing some in. Okay, I got 1 video in. Bam, 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 bam. Alright, well. Crazy video. Alright, that's a great video. Okay, next video. 10 hours long. We're skipping that for sure. 10 hours of absolute silence. You know I'm not that dumb. Skipping that. What the what was that bark? Alright.
So for this video, can I get all the girls to comment a red heart? Only girls. I'm serious this time. I'm not playing. If I see one boy, I'm deleting that app. I'm serious, man. I'm just getting pissed off.
Alright, we'll finish the song. Finish the song, we'll end it.
You're wearing the wire!
I love this song so much. So, like, airy.
Hey, you're not a regular prison guard. Of course I am. What do you mean? Oh, right. Okay. Right.
Is this guy trying to, like, get views for, like, what does this guy have, like... Wow, he has less followers than me, man. Or subs than me, but he has way more views. What the I'm confused. I mean, I'm not really confused, but it's just very confusing. I guess I am confused. Alright, what we got here? All right. That's it. This is it. Once it's over, it's over. This is it. This is it. Once it's over, it's over. That's where I'm gonna hit the button. I'll hit the button. I'm hit the button. You see the button?
We get it almost every night.
All right.
And when that moon gets a big
Yeah, I'm ready.
bright, it's a supernatural delight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight.
And that's it.